So I have with me here Bharat, Sahil and Ankit, who are super crazy GOT fans. And I want to start off by asking you guys, who do you think will sit on the Iron Throne in the end?
Everyone asks that question. Who do you think you're going to see on the Iron Throne finally? But I think everyone fails to ask the most important question that's never asked, and that is Sansa going to end up with Littlefinger or not? Apart from that, I think Jon Snow. Okay, simply because last season it was finally proved that R plus L is equal to J, right? So we all know that now that he is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and also of Lyanna Stark, which means that he has the most strongest claim to the Iron Throne, more than Daenerys Targaryen, right? So we know that much at least. So that's what it's going for, because that would mean that she is his aunt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we know that aunts don't become queens or kings, man. I mean, that doesn't happen, right? So most probably it should be him. And also, let's just mention one point. He is the one who's most serious about the White Walkers, right? Because we all know how it's going to end. It's going to be an epic match between the White Walkers and everyone else. Yes. Okay, and this guy has also fought the White Walkers. He's defeated them. He knows what the Night King looks like as well, right? So he's got that going for him as well. And he's an honorable guy, of course. But that being said, if history is proof of anything, this show does not like the Starks, man. Okay, so there's a very good chance that it might not end up happening. But yes, if that doesn't happen, I think Jon Snow has a very good chance of becoming the next king of Westeros.
In fact, I totally agree with you, Sahil, because I think Jon Snow is headed towards the direction. But what we're missing here right now is, I think Bran Stark is the key to the entire game here. Because right now, I think he's the most powerful guy in Game of Thrones ever. Because he has the power to go back into the past. He has visions of the future. We see him going back to the Tower of Joy. We know the entire Hodor mishap. We know what happened. We saw him influencing it. We saw him going and finding out finally that Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark had copulated, and then they ended up getting Jon Snow. So Jon Snow is not Jon Snow, he's probably Jon Targaryen, which makes a lot of sense. And also what's very interesting to note here is that there's a good probability that Bran Stark, and I'm going out on a limb here, that Bran Stark might just be the Lord of the Light, because there's nobody who's more powerful than him right now, and Lord of the Light, we've seen throughout the seasons that has the power to go and have a conversation with their priests. So there is this super possibility that Bran Stark might just be the Lord of the Light and might just choose Jon Snow as the champion, or probably the Azor Ahai.
That is fascinating to hear, but I somehow doubt that it's going to be Jon Snow ending up on the Iron Throne. To me, it's just too obvious. I know now that we know he's a Targaryen, he does symbolize ice and fire, right? But I have an inkling suspicion that it could be Tyrion. And also, I'm sure you guys have heard of this fan theory too, which I recently read about, so the assertion is that Tyrion is Azor Ahai, right? The legend of Azor Ahai. And the reason they say this is because if you look at the prophecy, there are three things that are mentioned, right? One, so Azor Ahai, in one of the battles, he rises from his previous self and becomes a warrior when he destroys a fleet with fire, which is what Tyrion did in the Battle of Blackwater Bay, right, with Stannis' fleet. And he also frees dragons from stone, which is also written in prophecy. He did that when he went inside and flees Khaleesi's dragon. And interestingly, if you notice, the dragons took to him exactly the way they take to Khaleesi. Like, their reactions pretty much seem to suggest that Tyrion could be Targaryen. So I'm not so sure that I'm with you guys on the Jon Snow part.
But Bharat, the point is, like you said Targaryen, Sahil mentioned Targaryen. You are going back to square one, like it started with a Targaryen, it should end with a Targaryen. But talking about Tyrion, he has always been shown as a person who is a good advisor. And now he's Hand of the Queen, like we got to watch in the last episode. So I think he has always been shown in the light of an advisor and not in the way he has been a leader so far. He's never been shown as a leader, in fact, for that matter. I think it's going to be Daenerys because for the same reason, like ever since season 4, it has built in a way that's going to be all around Daenerys. She has been aligning with a lot of people more than any other house. If you talk about other houses, they have not been aligning as powerfully or as successfully like the way Daenerys has been doing, or say the House Targaryen has been doing.
Also, guys, I really want to ask you guys, who do you personally want to sit on the Iron Throne towards the end of the season?
I personally would want Daenerys, just for the reasons I'll explain, because she's wanted it badly, and also because you can see the evolution of her character. Like, she's always been a good conqueror, but in terms of politics, she's certainly learning along the way. Like, for example, at first she wanted to implement change too quickly, and later she realizes that actually doing that could be counterproductive. So sometimes even if I don't like something as a leader, it makes sense to compromise.
I kind of agree with you, but not really, because I don't think Daenerys might end up on the Iron Throne, because personally, I'd not want her to end up on the Iron Throne, because I love her as a conqueror and not as a ruler. Who I would personally want to sit on the Iron Throne is Tyrion. Guys, come on, man. I mean, he suffered the most in the entire Game of Thrones universe.
I'm going to say Tyrion, as you said. Because first of all, he's my favorite character. As I said, he has never been shown in the light of a leader, but when the responsibility came, he showed the Battle of Blackwater. He fought and he clearly saved the city. So he has never been into the leadership part of the system, but at the same time, when responsibilities came, he showed it. So he deserves to be.
But look at what happened to Arya Stark. I mean, I would love to see Arya on the Iron Throne. I mean, it's very far-fetched, it's very out there, but she's also had it pretty bad, right? I mean, losing her entire family, not knowing if Jon Snow is alive or not, pretty much going from one continent to the next, and then pretty much losing her eyesight, becoming an assassin, everything she wanted, nothing ever works out for her, okay? So now what she's done, she's decided to go back home, okay? Where she is, who she is, she's a Stark, okay? So it's interesting to see how that will work out as well. What is her coming back, or the adventure that she has coming back, what does that mean?
Even I would love Arya Stark personally to sit on the Iron Throne. But I want to ask you one more thing. Who do you guys think will die definitely in this season?
Jaime Lannister.
I can second that for sure.
I personally want Peter Baelish to die this season. That guy has been a pain in everyone's...
How Sansa and him get together and have little babies and gross everyone out. I'm telling you, it is heading over there. I think there's going to be some massive issue over there, and both of them are going to get together, and they are going to play the biggest chess game you've ever seen in Game of Thrones. I think they're just going to ruin it for everyone. I think they are a bigger threat than the White Walkers.
Okay? I think
That's a big call.
Littlefinger is more dangerous than the White Walkers. We said it here on WION. Write it down. He is the most dangerous person you've ever met.
But he's going to die this season, I have a feeling, because all these season he has been trying to manipulate Sansa. But when the season ended last year, Sansa has got this personality. I think she's going to actually manipulate Baelish, she's going to play along, and she's going to kill Baelish.
Probably Jon Snow, gets the idea that Peter Baelish is someone who cannot be trusted. Ned Stark trusted him. Look what happened to him. So there might be a possibility that Sansa Stark loses it and probably kills Peter Baelish. That might really happen. As of now, all of this is just speculation. We'll only find out on the 17th this month.